So why are we talking about stretching, right? Stretching seems to be this moot point. No one stretches anymore. We do all sorts of other things. We don't stretch, right? Well, here's probably the reason why stretching is not so popular anymore, right? So static stretching as part of a warm-up does not influence injury rates. And we have a decent amount of research to show this, okay? And if you don't know this, it's important that you do, right? I can make an argument for certain individuals that have a specific injury with a specific mobility limitation that's keeping them from doing a certain exercise and causing one structure to get kind of overworked. But in general, if you throw in stretching as part of a warm-up, it doesn't really change your risk of injury, right? The other piece is that we've learned more and more about what stretching does to a muscle, and it generally does not change the muscle's structure, right? Most of the changes that occur within the muscle are due to changes in the nervous system, or really the tolerance to stretch from stretching for a period of time, okay? It doesn't actually lengthen the muscle tissue or add contractile units in series. The other piece is that static stretching has really been shown to reduce power output, right? Especially if you're stretching for longer durations. So if I stretch a lot and then try to sprint, or if I stretch a lot for long duration and try to squat a maximal load, my power actually goes down, right? So this has kind of led to dynamic stretching being more popular just because if you compare dynamic stretching with static stretching, you get a similar short-term improvement in range of motion, but you don't get that power reduction. However, and we'll talk about this throughout the course of this entire lecture, is that static stretching does have better longer-term effects. And lastly, ballistic stretching has actually been shown to improve vertical jump performance. So when I talk about stretching, oftentimes I'm really talking about static stretching. All this research kind of shows like, well, should we really static stretch anymore? Is static stretching really useless? Well, here's kind of my argument. What does stretching actually do? So stretching improves a range of motion of a given muscle. Okay, it's not going to reduce injury. Okay, it's not going to change the muscle architecture. It's not going to improve your performance, generally speaking, right? So why is this important? Well, really, some people need more mobility to optimize technique and performance. I work with a lot of Olympic weightlifters, CrossFit individuals, meatheads in general, people who love working out in the gym. If you've ever tried to do a snatch and you have any sort of mobility problem, you'll find right away that it is extremely difficult to do the movement, okay? You need to have a ton of mobility to be able to snatch an overhead squat well, right? If you've ever worked with someone trying to get better at clean and jerk, you'll see the same thing for the front rack. Some folks can nail this no problem, and other people, it's like absolutely impossible to do, right? If you're trying to hit a deep squat, that's another area where you need a lot of mobility. Even some folks have mobility limitation in the deadlift where they can't get to the barbell comfortably, right? From an overhead perspective, certain overhead lifts are going to require more mobility to perform properly. And last piece, and I took this directly from the study that we're going over today, you have an average 10% decrease in flexibility every 10 years across your lifespan. So you're actively getting stiffer, 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 stiffer as you age unless you really do something about it. So I think I really love this saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So basically that means there's all of these negatives that have come out about stretching, right? But there's still some positives and it's still worthwhile for certain individuals. So I think we should probably still talk about this and figure out how to best implement it. So here's what I want you to do next, guys. If you enjoyed this video so far, I have an entire course. It's free. It's called the Fitness Pain-Free Mini Course. And we go over 3 lessons going to help you take a lot of this information that we went over so far and put it into practice. The first lecture is called Why We Need a Better System. So first and foremost, the way we treat fitness individuals, all right, athletic people in the gym from a physical therapy perspective is pretty much broke, okay? So we need a better system to serve the folks that are in the gym that get hurt, they want to get back to training, all right? Lecture number 2 is called 7 Reasons Why People Get Hurt in the Gym. And essentially, we have to know the reasons why people get hurt in the gym so we can keep them safe in the future, right? And when they get hurt, we have to know why and how to get them back to training in the gym. Okay, so a thorough understanding of this is very, very important. I actually have a really cool infographic that goes along with this lecture that you get for free as well. And lastly, we go over a case study of how to get someone out of pain and back to training. So these principles are all phenomenal, but we don't actually put it together and you don't understand how to create a program to get people back in the gym and keep them safe for the long term, then we lose, right? So I'll put a link in the show notes for this. It's a Fitness Pain-Free Mini Course. Definitely check this out.